afternoon and God bless you. Welcome to our Bible study and praying session. God keep honoring you and yours in Jesus' name. Amen. We are looking at contentions against the youth, the glory generation. Contentions against the youth. And today we want to look at how people compel them, use them. We already said that people, Paul told us to resist being despised. People who despise you, put your foot on the ground for the right thing, because they want to despise you as you live. They want to parcel you to where they want you, what they want you to do. They want to passage you. They want to move you up and down, because you don't have a say. You have a say. In God, you have a say. Not in those olden days. No, you have a say now. Because if they ruin your life, you sit down and reap the consequences. Even in your marriage, marry properly to avoid insults later. Refuse being pushed to whom they want you to get married to, what they want to do with you, and eventually they will be insulting you. It can even be a parent that will push you into that thing, and eventually they will start saying, hey, you didn't know that it's going to be like this. I remember one lady that said she had a very good marriage, but because her family despised her husband, they kept telling her to come out, come out, come out. File for divorce, not divorce. And she said the man didn't have nothing, but the family was pushing her because the man wasn't there. So she said she filed for divorce. And the man was a very good man. The man now, so they told her how to make the things difficult for that man by demanding 50% of the man's money and investments. So when they went to court, they were planning to battle it and then to finish the man. The man went there, came to court. Now said that the man said he had some buildings that he want to divide the buildings into two. The man said, take the buildings, take everything. Let me just go in peace. And she said 10 years later, now the man has married and living well, but her family that pushed her into like wasn't the man. She even wants to say, you couldn't stay in your husband's house. Their life is beautiful for her. All those who pushed her into insulting her husband and separated from her husband say that the ones that insult her now. Man is now, and she lives in regret because there was nothing she could say that man did to her. Parents will push you up and down. They want to use you to settle scores, use your stories as blankets, as a code. Refuse it. Even if you're living in somebody's house, refuse to be a surrogate mother for them. If they want to, they can come and do your dowry officially. Forget that it happened in the Old Testament where somebody's house that was down could be somebody could not tell it to. You know, today I see people who say that the wives tell them to open up for the husband and allow the husband to get her pregnant. Sometimes the husband and the wife could now call the woman and tell the woman that please get. A man was talking about how he was doing this was posted to. The landlord of the house now called him and told him that he will not stop, he will no longer be paying rent. He was doing this, not paying rent. Because my wife said she's interested in you. You don't have a child, and my wife wants you to father their children for them. Said, for your payments, no house rent until you finish it. It's to do with the wife because mom was important. And he said, the man said that if you hear it, you're dead. So that's how they cornered him and wasted his life. And the man said that now that I'm with my wife, I'm with any other girl. No more girlfriend until can't. Refuse to be used sexually as a toy, as a surrogate father, surrogate mother. It happened in the Old Testament. Don't be another version of it now. If they, why will you be a second wife? Why would they convince you to give birth to the man you're working for or living in his house? And it's where they will remind you that you're not married. Respect your dignity. Genesis chapter 16, verse 1 to 16. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bore him no child, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abraham, behold, now the Lord has restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. So go and see with her. Not marry her, go in unto her. So let her give birth to children that will be for us. And Abraham happened to the voice of Sarai, and Sarah Abraham's wife took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abraham to be his wife. Everything was done because she was a slave. She was a slave, but your husbands are not slaves. Your workers are not slaves. Your salesmen are not slaves that you can corner to be giving birth to children for your husband. They're not slaves. In those days they were slaves, but now they're not slaves. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. Yes, that's who the mistress was eating. She's not eating. And so they are now rivals. It happens. Yes. And Sarah said unto Abraham, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid unto thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. God judged between me and thee. And Abraham couldn't do anything, because he was carrying her child, his child. Hey, don't do anything anymore. You're pregnant, so don't fetch your wood. Don't no, you're pregnant. Let us do it too. Abraham said, I'm pregnant too. My child is in her womb. Hey, guy. Oh, the mother of my first son. That was why she said, let judge between me and thee. Because you are watching this girl despise me because she was carrying your child. Very common, it will always happen. But at the end, you see what will happen. But Abraham said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleased thee. And when Sarah dealt hardly with her, she fell from her face. So she went to maltreat you. She was one that put you in that way, and now she's maltreating you. If you hadn't agreed to be used as a surrogate mother, she won't maltreat you. She'll give you your respect. She will. Because we are mom and aunt begs so that she should carry care for her husband. You post to someone where you go and give birth to a child, they will not come and say they adopted the child. It happens. You know what happened here? A very powerful man of God here. He's even married himself with children, but kept the herself in a pregnant man. And then eventually they look what they did and they send herself. After some time, the man went to adopt a child. Whom did he adopt that child? Because he was the father. And that's how the girl just ended like that. They waste your life. Please, God has a value for you. Don't devalue yourself. But Abraham said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleased thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, a fountain in the way to shore. He said, Hagar, Sarai's maid. What did the angel didn't call her Abraham's wife? What did the angel call, even in heaven, what did the angel call her? Sarai's maid. You are still a house help, still a maid. You refuse to that somebody should use you to fulfill their own gains and means, and then they cast you out. Yeah, she was cast out because she agreed to be helpful. She was cast out. And with her, and he said, hey guys, Sarah's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarah. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, return to thy mistress. So you see, not to your co-wife, to your mistress, not to your co-wife. Listen, not to your husband's house, to your mistress. Because heaven didn't endorse that marriage. Don't be good and then spoil, you win your own destiny. That other man who was Ruth's Naomi's husband's next of kin, said, if I marry Ruth, I will mar my own destiny. Don't do what will mar your own destiny. Don't be good somebody that will mar your own destiny. Don't do it. An angel of the Lord said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. You are still her maid. Give her your husband's child. You are still her maid. You see? And you know to be paying you. Because you don't want to be related to the place of the madam. You are not a madam. You are a household. And then the Lord said unto her, return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. And then the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, shall not be numbered for multitude. And then the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because thou hast heard thy affliction. I don't want to go into that one, because who was afflicted now? Sarai or after whatever Sarai did to Hagar was because she said the person had made Hamanah. started telling her, Madam, and the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. Can you imagine? His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the place of all his brethren. And she called the name of the Lord and spoke unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Bella Aroi, which is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abraham a son, and Abraham called his son's name Ishmael. Hagar bore Ishmael. Why? That is the name of the angel. That was the name of the angel gave the child. A wild man. Give it to the wild man. In chapter 21, from 17 to 21, it says, she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah would have given children? So for I have borne him a son in his old age. That's when they tried to win Isaac, and the child grew and was weaned. Sorry, that was after they gave birth to Isaac. The child grew and was weaned. Abraham made a feast, a great feast, the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto him, mocking. Children will always mock. Children will always joke at themselves. Even if from the same parents, they always mock themselves. It's normal. But because she was a born girl, because she was a househelp, it had opened her child. She and her child were exaggerated. Because she belittles herself. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son. What did the bondwoman do? Nothing. She sacrificed herself to make Abraham and his wife happy. And now she's paying the price for it. Cast out this bondwoman and her son. What did the bondwoman do? Nothing. Her son was mocking, so that she don't do it. But if she didn't have a son now, she wouldn't have done it. So I will kill woman. You can now cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be here with my son, even with Isaac. But you were the one that lured your husband into marrying this lady, and for me to say this marry your husband. Kill your husband. You forgot. That's what happens to you when you bring yourself so low, thinking you're helping people. Don't belittle yourself when you're into. Yeah? St. Paul said, I magnify my office. And he told Timothy, therefore, you don't let anybody despise you or use you derogatorily. Commit it to personal use. She has become a bondwoman. After giving your husband so called Ishmael, and seeing that God has withheld children from you, let my house help. Yes, you said that God has withheld children from you, and as soon as God withheld children from you, she was precious in her. Now that God has given you a child, this cannot be her. You were the one that said, let me have children through this woman. It's not the same tongue they used to borrow money, they used to pay it. Be careful when people bring you to low level, and you being very good, agree to meet their needs, to make them happy, to get them established. When things tables turn, they will despise you. Yeah, now you know she's a bondwoman. Why did you send for somebody to be brought from a place so that marry official? What did you send for? Yes, the way they sent for to go and get a wife for Isaac. Why couldn't you go and send somebody to a place so that she wouldn't be a person will not be a bondwoman? Now you know she's a bondwoman. But she has met with only and now have a child. Cast out this bondwoman and her son. The son of the bondwoman shall not be here with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. Previously paid Abraham because it was his son anyhow. This son of this bondwoman. But that was the husband's seed. That was the husband's seed. The son of the bondwoman and the woman should be cast out. When the woman is submissive to you now, what did she do to you now for you should be cast out? What she did was that she loved not that wanted that to make her husband happy. That was evil that she did, for which you are despising her till today. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of thy bondwoman. So God even Same thing God called her in verse 16. You're a maid, you're a born woman, a slave woman, not the wife of Abraham. How I wish she knew that this was going to be the turn of events. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy born woman. In all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be blessed. And also the son of the born woman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. So this God said that child was also Abraham's seed. God didn't deny it. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar. How will he give that to it? Just because she was a born woman. She was despised. How can you send a son and a mother out with bread and bottle of water? With all your wealth. At least those that Keturah gave birth to him, he gave birth to. He should just give to them because Sarah was no longer there to limit whatever he wanted to give to anybody. Maybe she was the only one that said that, so just and let them go and farm, die off, because now have a own child. That is what they are giving you because you belittle yourself to meet their needs. Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water, gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder. A bottle of water with all you have. What you have? Bottle of water for she and her son. And the child and sent her away, and she departed and wandered in the wilderness of the child. He could have sent her away to establish her to her, or he didn't. And he could have, but he didn't. And the water was spent. How long will the water last? And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs, and she went and sat her down over against a good way off. It's where a bow shot. He said, let me skin and that and make good noise. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off. As it were a bow shot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, lifted up her voice, and wept. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. She was weeping. And you know, the person had resources to establish them. But he didn't. She was a slave. So what kind of person are you, Abraham? You sent out your son without anything. And the woman was to wonder. But when Sarah died, the people children that Keturah gave you, gave them gifts. Why not give people this one gift? Something to live on. You didn't do it. Because Sarah will be angry. They will use you and dump you and despise you and chase you out. Refuse that any person should waste your tomorrow. I have a glorious future in God. You have a glorious future in God, but allow me God to waste your tomorrow. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice. Why she would weep? What sin did she commit? And somehow God takes sides with the oppressed. God takes sides with the oppressed. God heard the voice of the lad. The woman was crying, the child was crying. God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, what aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God had heard the voice of the lad where he is. This one was here crying, this one was here crying. Arise, lift up thy lad and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, without shelter. All that Israelites are very wild people, the Arabs, very dangerous because of the hardness their ancestors experienced. The small children that grew up without cover, without shade, without anything. No food, nothing. Just drinking water and eating wild things. I'm not about to be destroyed. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad. He grew and was in the wilderness and became an archer. That's what he would be. Well, first, that's what he was going to be. He was only a man. He learned how to shoot, to hunt. And that's why today, that's what they're known for. The religion they established, the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, the Muslims they established. From the Nigeria, 400 years now, they released their juju fortified arrows against you. Very turbulent and tempestuous people. That's what the father grew up that way. Their founder grew up that way. That's what he was going to be, an archer. But it can't be a husband, it can't be a tailor. That's what he did. He grew up a wild man, became a wild person, and became a wild and difficult to everybody around him. It came to pass, and he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. She was from Egypt, so she came from Egypt. So I wish she even went back to her family. It would have been this tough. In Galatians chapter 4, from verse 21, it says, "Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do you not hear the law? For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman." See, they still evil in that now. They still call her bondwoman. Is that what you want to be your title? Bondwoman. Is that how you have to be relegated? You are in a state of grade before the Lord, so don't bring yourself to this level. It is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise. Which is an allegory. For these are the two covenants, the one with the Mount Sinai, which engendered to bondage, which is Hagar, and for this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answered to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. It is written, "Rejoice, thou barren, that bearest not, break forth and cry, thou that travailest not, for the desolate had many more children than she who had a husband. Now ye brethren, as Isaac was the children of promise, therefore, like Isaac, children of promise, don't go back to being to anybody. Don't go to it. That's how you're going to end. That's what will be your story. It will mask your glory. Don't spill your seed anywhere. Don't donate your womb to any nonsense man that wants to use it to surrogate. Unless you want to do it legally. I don't know, people do it legally, but somebody now corners you, know. If you decide to do it, okay, that's what you want. People do it. But for somebody just to corner you and after that despise you and do it like this thing. Nevertheless, once the scripture, cast out the bondwoman and her son. So you cast out your son one day, repudiated, relegated, insulted. Cast out the bondwoman and her son, for the son of the bondwoman shall not be here with the son of the free woman. So then, brethren, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free. So we are free, therefore we will not be bondwoman to anybody. We're not, even if we are working for you as your sales girl, as your house girl, we will not be your bondwoman. We will not be Hagar to you. We will marry officially and have our own children and our own home. Oh, be respected and treated very well. We will not be Hagar. It happened that time so that we can learn from it and not repeat it. If you use chapter 30, from verse 1 to 12, something happened. And when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, "Give me children or else I die." And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, "Am I in God's stead who have withheld thee from the fruit of the womb?" And she said, "Behold my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear children, and she shall be upon my knees, and I will also have children by her." Something that Sarah did. But when Isaac knew what happened. So when the wife, Rebecca, didn't give birth to the child, simply after marriage, she started praying, "Do you want this thing that happened to him to happen again? Do you want to have a bondwoman After all, Rebecca had a maid. He didn't want to go into Rebecca's maid. He started praying. That's what he did. He prayed to have his own child, not through herself. But others wouldn't pray. Abraham never prayed for the wife. Neither did Jacob pray for his wife Rachel. They were now all passaging their ourselves to them. Just to see when the man cannot take up his role. Ourselves will now be doing the role of a wife for you. It's an aberration. Not to be seen in the youth that will carry God's glory. Not to be seen in the youth that will carry God's glory. The wife is not, we don't know how to handle it prayerfully. You don't want to use your house help. It's an aberration. If you want to do it, you will not carry God's glory. Those who do it will not carry God's glory. And she gave him her handmaid to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. I can't even imagine the same man doing that. Like planning your house help or children's sake. They had conceived and bore Jacob a son, and Rachel said, God had judged me, also heard my voice, and had given me a son. Therefore called she his name down. Go and check the family of that. And all the evils that did in Israel. Children from the born woman. What important thing happened in Israel from the children of the no? It happened in Israel, but from the children of Lee and children of Rachel. Checking between. The rest of the things are anything goes. Dan that also mobilized the son of Gershom to become the high priest of an idol to them. They said they were hot-tempered. Why would they be hot-tempered? How did they come? Faulty foundations. And Rachel's maid conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister. Please see kind of name they give them. And I have prevailed, and she called his name Naphtali. Naphtali, then when there's darkness, those that sit in darkness, oh, in Naphtali, that's what it was. How did it end? Those that sit in darkness, Naphtali and Zebulun. When Lee saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid and gave her to Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, this maid, bore Jacob a son, and Lee said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. Gad, the troop, exactly. Like that one that happened, the woman of Gadarene. That's what we see. And Lee said, yes, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called again. And Zilpah's maid bore Jacob a second son. And Lee said, happy am I, for the daughter shall call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. Tell me one important thing that people from this area did. The only person who ever tried to do something that was a picture of Issachar, that knew when Israel ought to go in and come out. All the other children from this born womb, no, they did nothing. That's why it was easy for them to mobilize to sell Joseph. The same rivalry and envy to sell Joseph out. Here come the tree. Children of the born womb are now selling the son of the rightful wife. Yes, this is. And how can God become into such a family? See how Jacob was reduced to sex toy. Was able to handle his family's affair. He prayerfully handled the barrenness of his wives at each time. Now depending on how to supply whatever the wife should have supplied. We went in first and went in second time. So and eventually the first time went into your wife. Because it was a house help. It was a house help that you went into. You went to find your couch. That went into your house. What do you think? All such things happen because sin goes in chain. Don't start sin. It goes in chains. This is for example. Let us tell ourselves that these are the things you see when you can't control yourself, and when you desire for a child, you begin to do what you ought not to do. You need to sleep with ourselves to get children. Such a man will not carry God's glory. God gave you the glory, that of mercy or purpose, which was what happened to Jacob. Jacob's son was purely purpose. The word people have discouraged him. And he said unto her, and Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother, Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes, because they believe that mandrakes have powers of fertility. And she said unto her, is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband, and wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the kind of toy Jacob had become? Because he couldn't control his sexuality. You finished serving for 7 years and they gave you a woman. You didn't even go to check with it. You didn't call the woman. It was the morning when you woke up. That's the way I found out that she was me and not Rachel. Why? They gave you a wife. You didn't even call the wife her name. No foreplay, nothing. You jumped into her. They didn't remember the time you're going on to her. Nothing. That's the only thing in your mind. You couldn't even call her by name. You couldn't even identify that who was giving you was the wife. That's the mistake he made. Married at night. But you know, married at night and bring all these evils upon the family. And the wives will be tossing up and down between ourselves. Which shame? What is your shame? What is the glory of your face as the man of the house? You'll be despicable. Live with this house today. Live with that house today. That's how you get children from houses up and down. And now time came when they were now rationing you as the man of the house. So the things you say because you give room. You that carry God's glory, you want to degrade yourself to this level. And Jacob came out, polygamy is not for us. Neither is polyandry for us. One man, one wife. Whatever is the outcome, we God love. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and he went out to meet him, and said, that thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. So he was now being hired, and he lay with her that night. What happened unto thee? And she conceived and bore Jacob the fifth son. And he said, God had given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. Issachar is still this guy. Nothing wonderful came out from those children from the households. They were just there for number. Nothing wonderful. They were just there for number. Some of the evils that happened in here came out through them. And he said, God had given me my hire because I have given my maiden to my husband. See how they even degrade God's name to humor what they were doing. Because you that the man of the house allowed it. And he conceived again and bore Jacob the sixth son. And he said, God had endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. Afterwards she brought a daughter and called her name Dinah. That's what happens. Keep your verses with holiness. David said the verses of the young men are holy. That's what David said. He said the verses of the young men are holy. That's chapter 21, verse 5. And David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth, women have been kept from us about these 3 days. So since I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy. Let your vessels be holy. The vessels of the young men are holy. Let your vessels be holy. Are holy. And the bread is in a manner common here, though it was sanctified this day in the vessel. So, let your vessel be holy. Don't bring from one house to the other, one sales girl to the other. You're a man that carry God's glory. Don't spill your water in many places. You marry one wife and you don't want whatever the outcome is. If God cannot do it for you, it is done. You try your normal method, try IVF, you can even go for adoption, but we prepare your vessel every winter it. And that's the woman refuse to be under figure in this generation. Father, we thank you for your word that has gone forth. Thank you, Lord. Give us the grace to keep our vessels holy. David said that that's the reason why the young men could eat the shewed bread, because the vessels were holy. Give us the grace to maintain holy vessels so that we can partake of the holy bread that is in your presence. The grace to say no to sin. The grace to be passaged. To refuse to please others at the detriment of our destinies. Give to us today, Lord. Enable us, Lord, to be firm on what is good, firm on our He said, let salvation belong to all men. Salvation belongs to all men. It's time for you. We are not eager. We are free. I will not turn to eager for any reason. Not for a job. Want of what to eat. Want of what to eat. Want of security for tomorrow. Shall we belittle ourselves to become mistresses? To become mistresses for people. To become the baby mamas. Not the baby mamas. You will give us good marriages and we will marry and give you glory. But keep us, hold us, uphold us, lift us, uplift us, guide us. Let your arms be always ever ready, present, carrying us. May we not falter or fail for anyone's honor. May we be preserved glorious, holy, without blemish, spotless, until we meet you. Give us the grace to keep our vessels holy unto you as a living sacrifice forever, irrespective of what we encounter, the needs we encounter in the place where we live, the place where we walk. We will not betray Christ to get an immediate need solved. We will not defile our temples. We will not defile them of the Holy Spirit to get our immediate need solved. We will take care of us and we will wait for you. We will wait for you. We will wait for you. There will be your name. Take all the glory. Take all the honor. We trust that which you are doing, so which is our lives, we are able to keep. We trust. We are able to keep. Receive all the glory. Receive all the honor for the work you are doing in us. For the grace to say no to sin. The grace that brings salvation that appeared making us to say no to sin. Say no to sin. Say no to immediate gratification. Say no to immediate solution. Because we are our goal. Praising you till we meet you face to face. Be exalted forever and ever. In Jesus' name we have prayed.